So in the past, I briefly spoke about public transport a couple of times, and I said it would be like a public transport lore. Well, I lied. That was not all of it. There's actually a much deeper story to be found if we really want to delve into the depths of what is public transport lore, at least in terms of things that have happened to me. So there have been many instances in my life where I took a bus one too many stops and ended up in the middle of nowhere or something like that. But no, recently I had the absolute epitome of public transport, like, misfortunes, I guess. This happened like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. So I was going to pick up my girlfriend from the airport, you know, as one does. There's a few ways to get to the airport. It's like a decent distance away from where I live. And method number one to get to the airport, driving there, which will take about 30 to 40 minutes. But I don't own a car, I don't have a license either, so that's not an option. Option two is to get like a cab or a taxi, which costs like an unholy amount of money. So, that wasn't on the table either. But there is other options on top of that as well. The other option number three for getting to the airport, is going to the city center and getting the city airport train, which takes like 16 minutes to get there. But of course, the actual travel to the city center has to be considered, so it ends up being like about an hour trip-ish, something like that. So that's option three. But then there's option four, where you just go to one of the train stations and you take a train directly there, which is different from the city airport train, because the city airport train, short for CAT, the CAT only actually like goes one stop. It only stops between the city, obviously, and then the airport, and there's no in-between stops, so it's very fast and direct. Any other trains that go to the airport have like a billion stops along the way. But I decided I was going to take just a regular train over to the airport, because I wasn't feeling like finding a route that takes me to the city to then take this airport train. I just felt like too much work, so instead I just took a normal train. And I usually have a pretty nice experience with trains. They're quick. They can't exactly get caught in traffic, so if they have a delay, I don't know, it's the fucking conductor being an idiot. So I took the train and I made it there, no issues. I arrived at the train stop, the train station, sorry. But then there was a small issue of, okay, I knew when my train was going to show up. And there's like the little signs above the train tracks that are like, oh yeah, this is the train that's coming next. And when the train is here, it'll show like a different symbol to like show, oh yeah, train's here. But this time, also the trains, whenever they arrive, or even just in general, any train or bus, at the front, they have this like digital sign that says where they're going, what train it is. For some reason today, none of those signs were working on the trains. So I kind of just had to guess which one it was. But thankfully there's the sign at the train station, which tells you, oh yeah, the train is here. This is the one that's currently arriving or whatever. And on that sign, it was my train. I think it was the S7 that I had to take at that time. And the sign at the station said S7, and it had the symbol that showed that it was already here. So, well, I just got on the train. But after like 5 minutes on that train, I felt a bit weird. So I got off the train, because I had a feeling it was the wrong one, and I was right. It was actually the wrong train, because when I got off, the little sign at the station said that the train I was just on was like the S3 or something, which obviously isn't the one I was trying to get on. So then I just waited at that station to get the train that I needed, and it said on the sign, okay, the next train is the one that I need. That's the S7. So I waited for the next train, which also had no sign, and I got on that one. Stayed on that one for like 20 minutes, and I realized this is taking way too long. Why are we not there yet? Turns out the sign lied to me again. That was actually still not my train. I don't know how. And when I got out, I was like 20 minutes into the opposite direction that I needed to go. And at this point, I was already running late to my girlfriend's flight landing. I was gonna be there very late, like an hour late if I got on another train. So I just bit the bullet and got a cab from where I was now, which is actually further away than from my house. So that was fun. Eventually got to the airport, or I got to the airport, I was alone. Picked her up, you know, that was great, good fun. And then on the way back, you know, we took a train back. But this time, you know, it was from the station already. There should be no issues. Oh, hey, new PB, 12.26 seconds. I should upload that. But anyway, yeah, so we got on the train, made sure to check which way it was going. And this one actually had the sign working, and it was the correct train. X7 or Rex 7, so something to do with the 7, I don't exactly remember. But it was the right train this time. So we got on, and what the hell? And after like, what felt like 30 minutes, we realized we were still not at civilization, which was weird. So then I checked on my phone, what stops were supposed to be passing, and I realized none of them were stops that I went past. The train was going the other direction for some reason. So, well, obviously we got off. We didn't want to go even further out into the middle of nowhere. But now we were really actually in the middle of nowhere. I had no idea where we were. It was just like random rundown area with just absolutely nothing. There was a train station, sure, but like an empty building beside it, some bridge, and like a motorway. But there was no. Okay, that's not gonna be an upgrade. There was nothing else. Like we tried to just, you know, get a cab from there home, because then what else are we gonna do? Because the next train to go the way back was like an hour from then. So yeah, I just checked. Oh, what about a cab? But we were so far into the middle of nowhere that the cab's like system, whatever service, did not actually go that far. Like it said there was like no cabs available in your location. And I have to ask, where the fuck am I? There are no cabs that can drive to my location. It turns out I was, we were close to a place called Bratislava, which is Slovakia. And you see, I live in Austria, and in Vienna specifically, and I was just going to the airport and back. Somehow, on that same trip, I got on the wrong train, or we got on, or no, I got on the wrong train 3 times, we got on the wrong train once, and I almost ended up in a completely different country, almost crossed the goddamn borders to Slovakia. It wasn't great. And you see, the idea for that day, the original plans we had, was that as soon as we got back from the airport, you know, we'd quickly settle down at home, and then immediately go out to eat something. But we ended up not getting to eat lunch until like 5:30 p.m. It was not the greatest day of my life. But to be fair, it was a very nice lunch. You know, we waited so long to get our lunch that when we actually got it, it tasted incredible. So that was something. But yeah, I almost ended up in Slovakia once. Not the most, not the greatest day of my life. It was not very fun just waiting out for an hour in the middle of nowhere for a train to show up, because I was basically just fucking, I don't even know, Narnia. And since then, I've just like I've never taken a train again. I know it's only been like 2 weeks since then, but I was just like, now, next time we're taking the city airport train. I don't care how long it's gonna take to get there. I am not getting. Did I miss? Where'd my quivers go? I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna get on one of those normal trains again. They cannot be trusted. Oh, so this guy is, I thought he would be stunned by now. So that's kind of annoying. Yeah, I'm never getting on one of those again. Yeah, I think that story time's over, but I don't want to end it in the middle of the fight. So, you know, I'll just pet this out by saying very important things. Like, oh yeah, so I have been playing Mono Shock a lot lately. It's by far my favorite team. Everybody knows this. Also, I'm kind of in a weird situation. I'm not going to be able to break this hand because I have no quivers. There we go. Yeah, I have a feeling that people are kind of sick of me playing Mono Shock. It's not the only thing I've been playing lately, but it's like mostly the only thing I've been playing. And I can't help but notice the videos are doing worse and worse every time I upload. Every time I play Mono Shock, they're just getting less and less views. And I feel like people just don't want to see the team anymore. Which, I mean, I guess is fair, but it's like, damn, that 50k UCC run was fire. And it got, like, no views. Made me very sad, but anyway. You guys should probably subscribe. We just hit 4,000 subscribers, and that was incredible. I want to make it to 10,000 before the end of the year. That is an extremely unrealistic goal that we are probably not going to meet. Just going off my current statistics, we're gonna get like 6,000 by the end of the year, or something like that. But you know, we want to beat the statistics on this one and do better. So subscribe. Tell everyone that you know to subscribe, unless they don't actually have YouTube. In that case, I don't know. Anyway, see you guys.